playful, powerful. This is or at least that's how things start. When these two first come to Wildcat Haven, stand out. A sanctuary.
Bear the bobcat actually came to Wildcat Haven in 2001.
Putting cats together for companionship is part of the effort to add enrichment to the lives of
So
wild
Bear
cats.
was kind of destined to be by himself, unfortunately.
Roby the caracal. Then, one day, during a facility maintenance project, the unexpected happens.
And when I put them together,
Mannerisms and habitats that they would live in can bond together. It just shows to us that
I never heard a hiss. He allows me to do things I would never thought in a million years I could do.
But there's another reason Bear must be separated from Roby. His own protection. But he's not hurting Bear. So they let it play out.
It seemed he was testing.
We'll just see how it kind of plays out between the both of them. And I'm almost 100% that they'll end up.
The owl, named Jebra, sharpens her flying skills, especially her takeoffs and landings. So Jordy begins to capture the air show on tape for his own amusement.
But what will stay intact is the friendship or the respect that Foom has for Jebra, and he will never see her. But I think that the affection
or
is
instinct. Jordy's preserving a record of their incredible bond as it is now for the pair's many fans. Kevin's been in love with big cats, especially lions, for over a decade. And he doesn't
almost tickling his brain. When lions are in a group, they would groom each other and they lick their... I think people need to be aware of that. These are lions, they're not humans, and they have their own way. And then 2.5 weeks later, I expected this happy pride lying under a tree.
The most unlikely friend for a house cat is probably a mouse. Eating and resting together.
Now they're inseparable.
Will always be remembered as Maushen's loyal feline friend. But to the surprise of the staff, Amira seeks out Malishka in her cage.
The lynx around, and I think she may have adopted that as her mother, because the lynx is the same color as a deer.
Guys, you're pushing your luck. Hang on tight to that leash.
Yeah, I got her.
They let them enjoy the bond as long as they can. When a rare Amur leopard gives birth at a German zoo, the runt of the litter gets pushed out at feeding time. Several nominees bore him to tears. 9.5 months, they're inseparable. See? But there's nothing like having a faithful feline friend.
They're best friends.
To badgers, foxes, to orangutans. The staff at nearby Shamwari Game Reserve spring into action to save the calf's life, to transport him to the reserve's hospital. At Shamwari, the staff releases the rhino into a protected enclosure. Clint may be grieving the loss of his mother, so Shamwari staff decides that some animal company, but everything doesn't go according to plan.
Oh no!
Geez, he's a tough little fellow.
It's really
It's a relief to see Clint drink the milk, a clear sign. But Harry the sheep has his work cut out for him.
It was quite nice to see they almost like bonded straight away. Both found another rhino mate.
As well as can be expected. As for Harry the sheep, a job well done. So peaceful that even dogs and cats get along. At least these three didn't have the bobcat cub for long, but Linda thinks they may have had her for a few months.
They were roughly the same age. The puppies were young, Yamaya was young. We introduced them at that point.
If somebody gets rough, it's the paw down on them, and that's enough. You've unbobcat-like.
to get in a wading pool and enjoy it with the dog.
Tonda's mate, Yakat, dies of old age. This changes Tonda. As time passes, Tonda and TK's lives revolve around each other. A great way to remember his old friend, Tonda the orangutan. Animal friends. Eurasian badgers are highly social. Places her back with her own kind to learn to be a badger.
But because our two foxes jumped over her and could outrun her and has always been able to outrun her because foxes, to know that they're wild and that they're safe and that they're wary of humans is probably the most amazing thing.
Forged over a meal. And that's how this one starts.
We have been feeding them at the same time.
When she was 6 months old or a year older, in addition to playing with her friends, she would be going around trying, and these troops are cohesive, so they stay together. They're always, or virtually millions of years, they're maintaining some kind of social bond with
And I was feeding Digby just enough to satisfy him.
David and the other rangers make a mud hole for Omni and give him his mud pack. Needs to get his licks in. It's a boys' club. With this much time in the trenches, as Omni and Digby reach adulthood, their lives take.
We didn't pay too much attention to him because we thought he'd be gone soon.
During the harvest, Freddie was probably separated from its mother and was looking for a new family.
But they're one of the most adaptable mammals on Earth. Freddie embraces the herd's strict
and we know that grown boars cause trouble. They don't stay as cute as when they're little.
Whether they're wild or tame, unlikely animal friends always stay close to our hearts. Deer, bear, cheetah, donkey, or fox. Some dogs will swim the deepest sea. It's the
more people coming in to see him.
Solitary dolphins Uta studies in the waters off Ireland's west coast. Dolphins sometimes blow bubbles to entertain themselves. But playful Doogie uses them to...
So a dog is just imitating the energy. They don't know when to stop. So that's why...
Bring him in.
Though Ben
and the next thing you see the dolphin coming and jumping about. How does a dog know that a dolphin?
It is the last time Ben sees Doogie. His little fawn is Pippin. Born just a few days ago and then abandoned. She is alone, but after 3 days, they could wait no longer.
She was gonna die.
Kate instantly starts caring for the orphaned fawn, and a very special friendship begins to grow.
In the middle of the yard, like a proud mom, and Pip would be flying around all over the place and come running back to Kate.
Over a month passes with no sign.
Here, distressed. And I knew something was wrong. And it was like playing hide and seek, because Pippin would be with me. This relationship will go on.
But Ika, the dog that brought the cub home, is an ideal playmate. Although Ika's an excellent companion, he can't take part in the cub's favorite activity. The Logars realize they may have to let him go.
We're doing this with the help of enclosures with electrical fences. As
the zoological staff takes turns bringing the tiny cub home every night. They name the rambunctious rescues.
Cassie is a rescued cheetah, and so we wanted to find a rescued dog to live. The dog is more of the dominant animal, and she typically kind of stands over him and engages him from the top.
A psychology professor who spent her career studying animal behavior in the field. Wister the donkey strikes Barbara as a loner, not the obvious choice for a playmate for the energetic and outgoing Safi. As the weeks unfold, Smuts is so intrigued by the budding friendship.
Weapons. Every now and then, Wister would bite her because she kept doing it over and over again.
So every time...
And they got worried about him. So they got another donkey. They got a lady
He'd been
donkey.
crying for days. After some hesitation, Gary's family dog
dogs will instantly attack and kill a fox.
You just don't know. So you could have the loveliest Labrador or whatever, but Jack became sort of a brother or sister to charge around and play with all the time and use up a mile away, and copper bolted.
While it's ideal to release rescues back into the wild,
and the ability to forgive. The dog is showing us.
Through thick and thin.
It's a purest thing on the face of the earth. This is unconditional.
This one begins with Dominic, a retired bachelor who eats breakfast every Saturday morning.
That's it. But this was different. I don't know what it was, but Maria would just stay with me.
She's the best kind of girl. She follows me around. She doesn't talk, and she lets me touch her breast. The first time I went down there, I had just I don't think Dominic has ever had animals before.
I used to tell people that...
Oh my gosh, she's ready to go.
Experienced a week.
But to Dominic and her fans, she'll always be Maria. No one knows how
because
this
Brutus
story...
thinks I'm his dad. So when Brutus stands up, he's almost 8 feet tall.
The grizzly cub quickly outgrows Casey's home. So Casey built, but other rescued grizzlies as well.
And they love to climb up on the hill
Grizzly country
and look around.
really can be the difference between life and death for you and the grizzly bear.
And when farm staff finds a lone female with a broken leg separated from her herd, they tranquilize her. Finally, months after she arrives, Hop lets Luke touch her to introduce Hop and Skip to others as well, starting with his sister. Months later, Luke returns to visit. Skip is with a new herd, but he tracks
feels like
down
I can move mountains because of what I've done with her.
Before long, the thriving little fawn loses his spots. It's clear that Hoppy is a cat lover and also adores Tony and Amanda.
And after that, we saw him tons with other deer, so it's great to know that he was surrounded by friends, but that he also had his friends.
Hoppy begins to wander farther away from home. And the mating season
The test of my love is me willing to give him up and to give him to someone else.
And I'll never forget the dinner we had that evening.
I live on my own, so I don't have anybody to contend with about the state of the furniture or anything like that, and it certainly doesn't bother me.
She just wouldn't eat, so he used to put pills in the...
I left the door of the van open. She had been in the back, and she just comes out and she...
But some fairy tales turn bittersweet.
Sally lived that it is possible to have a relationship with animals.
Their phone number with local farmers, but no one called to claim the newborn lamb.
Even though people in the area have got used to him now, there's always somebody who sees him for the first time.
Nick Boyne's very much like a big kid, very much so.
Sometimes he just goes for the money.
There's been the odd occasion.
They were my family, and yeah, I was connected to them in some way.
Of making friends. Don't eat your buddy. Try to relax. Enough to satisfy Salati's growing urge to roam.
Here we go. It's good. Come, Tommy.
According to great cat expert Craig Sappho, Salati's
for leopards, they are solitary. Both sexes are solitary as adults.
Come, Tommy.
On today's walk, the hikers started.
Come. So Salati will hear our voices, so she'll come. This will be her first catch and kill if she has. So.
The incident also raises Jenny's concern for Tommy's safety. Early 80s. He doesn't know he's about to witness one of the most mysterious animal interactions ever seen. What happens next is astonishing.
Yeah, you know, you're dealing with a big carnivore, and they're a predator. You know, it's something that just...
Each winter, when the ice on the Hudson Bay finally supports their weight,
that happened in a natural way, and I'm not going to destroy it for them, but I am...
In 2001, Atlanta police officers rescued 3 cubs during a drug raid. Baloo's surgery frees him to grow and grow.
If the lion decided he wanted to throw his weight around, he's got razor-sharp claws, huge teeth. He can certainly put a bite.
He's a tree hugger.
Of a group of big cats. However, for these individuals, it certainly seems like the most...
The staff fears the dehydrated orphan may not make it through the rescue.
I'm really concerned.
He finally takes water.
Within 2 weeks, he was out having his first walk with us and with Albert the sheep.
And Albert, as Timba moves from the boma, and a fence is placed between him and Albert.
But we also knew that we'd given that elephant 2 years of a life.
You wouldn't have been a happy little elephant.
No, they had a very special friendship, just the 2 of them.
In March of 2000, near Hoedspruit, South Africa, a baby hippo is, and at her size, she knows how to make her needs known. Gaining confidence in finding wild food.
She can wander off whenever she wants to.
The public protests. Even the county commissioner weighs in.
It's not going to be auctioned off.
Costs climb in harmony.
They were like brothers. They really were. There was a real friendship there.